Hello, my name is Blair and good day to all of you. Today we're going to talk about education. Education is more on technology nowadays, especially we are now in the technology side as the technology progressive every month, every 6 months. Come to think of it, every 6 months we have a new technology, we have a new script of programs for the operating system, especially in our Linux community. That is why it is very important to track down the technology and the increase of market shares of technology, especially in Linux, because Linux is an open source and it is a kernel, not only as OS, as operating system software, but a kernel which is in the base of each technology, like our mobile phone and supercomputers, even our laptops, our tablets, our computers, printers, projectors, smart board that we call, it's actually Linux that is communicating through our desktop. It depends on what kind of OS are you using, but in that particular level, it is all in Linux kernel because it is open source and it is absolutely for free to make your own technology. That is why it is very important to learn more about Linux as a kernel and a program at the same time. And GNU or GNU is also one of our open source. It is also free, as freedom to use and freedom to choose and freedom to reuse and make your own programs. So that is why it is very important for this two organization, the Linux and the GNU or GNU. As I notice, education right here in Thailand, because I'm a teacher right here in Thailand, it has a different approach on education. And at the same time, where I graduated in the Philippines, there is a different type of education. So let's try to see what this difference, especially we're talking about technology, because I'll be looking onto this type of topic or subject. I think it is way back in 2017. Let's try to see, because I still have this ICT Teachers Pack 2017 and I have also the, what year is this? I forgot. I think I modified this already. Yes, this has been modified. Let's try to see. Oh, this is way back in 2016. And it is granted by or generated by the Microsoft Office in 2007 version. So this is a little bit like very old. Like we have also the 2017. It is generated from the Microsoft 2013 Word. So yes, ironically, I'm using Linux. But let's try to see inside this ICT grade 5. And at the same time, we will try to see also some different PDF that I have for the past few years. And at the same time, this PDF that I have, either it's been downloaded from a website and some are from my personal files. Edukasyon, pantahanan at pangkabuhayan, which means education for home and livelihood. So this is the first quarter activity sheet. This is the Department of Education 2016. So let's try to see this. So yeah, so this is the educational system in the Philippines. Okay, it teaches you how to use the Google Google is actually Linux. Okay, so we are teaching mix of Microsoft and Linux all at once. This is how to create your folder by the drop down menu from the Google form. So this is for the grade 5. So as you can see, this is basically the type of education that Filipinos, most of them, but not all, because different cities, different location has its own style of dealing with students, especially if they are a little bit like only to popular type of application and operating system. Some of them, like in the special science high school and elementary, they have different approach. They use Linux because they use programming, and at the same time some Python programs that is in uploaded to their robots, which is a Linux operating system. So this one is basically just for the common and normal type of kids, not the special type of kids. So let's try to see ukay. Okay, so how to use the PowerPoint. Well, I'll teach you next time. I'll continue the PowerPoint and the slideshow presentation, how to use the OnlyOffice, LibreOffice, and Microsoft Office. So this is Teacher's Pack 2017. This is in the US. So as you can see, they have the different type of teaching method, but it's still the same with how to use the Microsoft Office, like the Word, Excel. It's so funny sometimes if you are like way back in 70s, 80s, that you are not actually using Microsoft at that time, especially us, like me. Our school is not using Microsoft at the time. It is using the Unix. I forgot I think Sun OS. I think it was Sun OS. I was very small at the time. So we are not used to use the Microsoft during those times, but in the mid 1990s, Microsoft dominated the market share for desktop, and until now they still dominate the market share for desktop. Unix popular right now is the Mac OS from the Apple computers. So that is the example for Unix. For Linux, of course, we have the KDE, the Genome, the Fedora, and much more. Even Ubuntu, by the way, I forgot Ubuntu. So let's see. So this is typical education for the Microsoft, as they dominate the mid 1990s until currently 2023. So these are the lesson plan that I have in my hands right now. So it's still the same, right? It's still the same. So now let's go to the computing or computer science. Computing or computer is still the same because it is still computing some numbers, data. So computer and computing a little bit like the same, different in definition, but it is still computing. Computer is still computing. So as you can see, this is the education for the specialized elementary students, grade 5, right here in Thailand. As you can see, it is playing with the Linux program, which is the Scratch. This is developed by the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. So it is more on programming for mind conditioning, but in the later end it's still data processing, like the Excel that we have, the spreadsheets that we have. And at the same time, even here we have the internet. What is internet? What is instant messaging? So it also has the application software as the computer system. You have the hardware and the software. Plus, of course, you have three basic operating system, which is the Microsoft and the Apple, which is using the Unix, and the Linux, which as we have Ubuntu, KDE, Genome, and so on. Of course, we also have the presentation slideshows right here, and the internet. So moving folders, moving your files, creating new folders, saving a file into your folder. So basically this is basic operating system. It's still the same with our Linux, Mac, and at the same time our popular OS, which is our Microsoft. And proper use of computers. You'll be teaching by how to use the proper way of using the computer. So let's try to see the chapters for the grade 5. So we have also the biology, living things, and the environment. That's why we need to plant more trees, not to cut down trees, because we are trying to protect the living things, and we are including ourselves, which is we also need trees, because if there's no trees, where the rain goes? If there's cement, where do water go? It need to subside into the drainage instead of like replenishing the groundwater. Just put like the bricks instead of like total cement. You need to have like a bricks so that the water will flow down into the soil. So that is science. That is why science means knowing. So yes, this is the textbook that we have in our science in grade 5. There you have it, P5. I'll zoom in down here, grade 5. So that is why we need to learn not only the basic but also a little bit like specialized lectures and lessons, because we need also to educate ourselves not only the popular but also how to use the unpopular applications and like in our lives. And at the same time, like me, I'm using Linux. I don't have any commercial that I have in my desktop like in Windows. Sometimes Windows lock you up. So that is why it is very important to have this knowledge, because if you don't have the options like to pay, if you are low in budget, so why you need to buy expensive operating system, expensive equipment, expensive gadgets, if you have the same quality that you have with your free and open source? I remember way back then we used to use Adobe for our editing, but right now, nope. I'm not really into Adobe right now. I'm into Canon Live from the KDE desktop operating system that brings you your plasma TV. And did you know that your smart TV, your smart board, your smart tablet, your smartphones are all Linux based? So anyway, that's it for now for your Linux app. I'm Blair. Catch another episode of your Linux app right here on my channel. It is available in YouTube, Odyssey, and Rumble. Bye for now, and See you in the next episode. And remember that science means knowing, because science is cool. Ciao!